Okay, so today I shall share with you about how we can ace civic exams and not about any particular uh, modules or question, but there are some tips and some advice for students who are preparing for civic exam. For this kind of topic, then there will be a few things that I need to say. First, this is my own experience that I want to share with you. So it's not from SIP, it's kind of like my own subjective view. And you may see something could be helpful for you, but there are some tips that may not be applicable. However, I will try to include the ones that more applicable and more accessible to every student. And second, we shall talk about a few things today. First, I would like to have an overview about SIP exams in level 4 and level 5. Today, I think that I focus on level 4 and level 5. The levels that I have more experience on and how to overcome them. Second, then I will share some tips for studying for OR exams. They tend to be quite general and they can be applied to any modules that are within level 4 and level 5 syllabus. And third, let's talk about CR. According to my experience and interaction with different students on WhatsApp, then I feel that people tend to be more anxious about CI exams because they need to perform something that they don't really, they not regularly do, like writing the essay and in a structured way. So people tend to very anxious, like they are not confident about their writing skill. So the part of the them here will be a bit longer than the part for OR. So first, we shall look at the features of civic exam. It's actually I think that it's a very common topic. It's a very common topic, and we already know about some features of CVTEM, but for the new student, I think that I still highlight some features, and especially if you see them for the first time, this thing could be quite overwhelmed at first. So we shall have different type exam like OR exams and CI exam. OR here I need to write as constructed response. OR is the abbreviation for objective response, and CR is abbreviation for constructed response. With OR, it means like the multiple choice questions or multiple choice exams. So you will have for this kind, the OR, then you have for level 4 and level 5 and even level 6, you have 90 minutes for certain for a certain number of questions. In level 4, each exam has 60 multiple choice questions. We could have a few types like multiple choice, multi-select question. Multi-select means you need to select more than one options from the list of answer. And for each question, when you answer that correctly, then you get one score, and totally with level 5, sorry, level 4 questions, level 4 exams, you have totally 60 score, and they can convert that into percentage. Like the result will be like 82, 79, or 90%. They will convert that into percentage. And the pass rate, the pass mark is 70. You need to score above 70 questions. Sorry, you need to score above 70% to pass the exam. So according to my calculation, then for level 4 OR exam, you need to answer correctly 42, at least 42 out of 60 questions. In other words, then at most you are allowed to answer incorrectly 18 questions. So we still have a margin for error, but you should not excess that margin for error. And later I will share some tips on how to study effectively. Second, we have the level 5 OR. Actually, theoretically, then level 5 OR could be more difficult, could be more challenging than level 4 OR. But from the statistic from CIPS, I think that when students reach level 5, they have certain level understanding of the job of procurement. Therefore, level 5 pass rate tend to be higher. So I think that the most challenging part will be for the people with very few or very little experience in procurement starting from level 4. So they tend to be quite overwhelmed by the load of knowledge in this kind of profession. But in level 5, when you know the foundation, when you know about how to deliver the answer, when you know how to when you know about the relevant knowledge and skills of procurement, then level 5 tend to be easier than level 4. For each level 5 or exam, then we have 44 multiple choice questions. Okay, so totally we have 46 questions. Within that, then there are 44 multiple choice questions. Just like with level 4, we have the multiple choice question that which you need to select one correct answer. Or we have the multiple selection question when you need to select more than one. Most likely 2 or 3 answers from the list of options. And beside that, we have 2 matching questions. Matching question, like we have a very huge scenario, which can be divided into 4 sub-scenarios. And then for each scenario, you need to match with certain part of knowledge, like between the, for example, in Alpha and 3, we have the matching between the tire bridge and the way to solve the resolution, the way to solve the dispute or dispute resolution. So with this one, then you need to match 8 words into the table. You need to drag and drop 8 words into a table. So basically, then this type of question, I can say that it could create a little bit more challenges for students. But if you know the basic, if you know the foundation of knowledge, then you can score this easily. So we have 2 matching questions, and for each question we have 8 words that you need to drag and drop. So for this question, we each question worth 8 marks. Each question worth 8 points. So totally, when we add them together, when we have the sum together, then 44 plus 8 plus 8, then we still have 60, still totally 60 points from this kind of question. And similarly to level 4, we only have 90 minutes for this kind of exam. As you can see, then although the 2 levels are different, but they still share the same time period as well as the same total score. And finally, I think this can be more stressful for many students. I'm talking about CR exams. For both level 4 and level 5, they are the same. Since the update earlier this year, since the update from November 2024, then level 5 CR exam are the same as level 4 CRs. So for each of these exams, we have 4 questions, and we only have 4 type exam here for modules with CR here. L41, L48, L51, and level 5 and 4. All of them have the same type of question. Like we have the normally we have the scenario, we have the command word, we have the question, and each exam like that has 4 questions. And then you have 180 minutes or 3 hours to finish those questions. So for every type exam, you have very limited time, only from 90 to 180 minutes. Therefore, you need to know the strategy for allocating your time. That is the most precious resources, and therefore, you need to know how to undertake the exam. So now simply just an overview about CIPS exam, and next you will see that I'm about to share some tips about OR. With OR, then for both level 4 and level 5, we have totally for level 4 we have 6 OR exams. For level 5 we have 3 core OR exams and 3 electives. So totally we have 12 exams in total if you want to get the diploma for both level 4 and level 5. So for these exams, then the tips is quite general and they can be shared with among themselves. And my advice is that if you are a new student and you are about to start with level 4, then take your time to read the study guide slowly in level 4 would be very key to understand both level 4 and level 5. In level 5, then we have very limited, we have very repeated part of knowledge from level 4. Like with Alpha 5 2, you will see again about some matrices with Alpha 3. Also, you will see that there are different terms of contract, also about the contract formation from Alpha 3. And similarly with Alpha and 5, also about ethical and responsible sourcing, right, from Alpha and 4. So basically, they get the knowledge from lower level. So you need to be very careful and go slow at first, and then you can speed up when you know better about CIPS knowledge foundation, like about the protein cycle, about the matrices, like project portfolio, about the supplier frequency. And about early supplier involvement, etc., or outsourcing, those kind of things. Then I think level 4 and level 5 are not difficult. But there are some further tips I want to share here, and especially pay attention to the to your vocabulary. Sometime in level 4 and sometime in level 5, they may ask you the question in a way that they write it in different way, or they use very different vocabulary to construct that question. So improve your knowledge about business vocabulary, especially the business slang, English business slang, like some word like frills, competitive advantages, something like that. It will help you to understand the question better and select the right answer. Second, to highlight your progress and to highlight your weakness before you write it, then you can look at the learning outcome assessment criteria and indicated content from the syllabus. As you can see, the syllabus and the book table content are very similar. They divide the book into chapters of learning outcome. Learning outcome are the largest subsection of the book. And then under learning outcome, you will see some part like 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, or 2.1, 2.2 to 2.3. they are the assessment criteria. And then under that, we have the indicative content of the major topic that that the book presents for that part. Sometimes the study guide, if they are poorly written, that is sometimes still we have some very unstructured way to CIPS still have some repeated part in the study guide. They repeat a lot of part knowledge from this chapter to that chapter. So sometimes they still have the duplication. Right. For that case, then you can try to facilitate and also rationalize the part of knowledge. Then you can use the mind map to connect different parts together, and then you can try to practice with questions to know how to and familiarize yourself with the question pattern. Furthermore, what we receive from most students, like they want to know about past paper. The fact is that unfortunately, CIPS doesn't publish the past paper, so the new student may struggle to find some open source or free source at at first. But instead, then if you join the discussion group, then from time to time, people may post some questions from different study center or from some Udemy source, or you can go to Udemy and search for the practice question. You will see that there are a lot of practice questions there, and they can be constructed by different instructor that may have the experience with the exam or something like that, so that they know what kind of exam came in, what kind of questions has come in the exam, and they may rewrite that in their practice question. All right, so the question and the exam are quite kind of like, I think that they are quite predictable and become more stable these days. And people may search for different practice questions easily. All right, so there are some very small tips about OR. I think that because we have kept like 12 OR exams to finish in level 4 and level 5. Therefore, I could not share specifically, since we don't have enough time for this one. I cannot share specifically how we can ace the exam from the first time for every module. But here are the general tips, and depending on the content, then you can study and create your own strategy in study. Another thing is that you should not wait until the very last hour to look at the study guide, especially when you feel that you don't know much about a module or about subject, like about negotiation. Then you need to approach early and take your time to read the study guide, to practice, and to improve your vocabulary. Here, according to my registration record, most students are not, I know most students are not the native speaker. They are not from the Britain, they are not from United Kingdom, or they are not from Australia, or not from the United States. So most of the students here are not native speaker, but they are learning English as a second language. Therefore, their vocabulary cannot be as good as the native speaker, as good as their CIPS assessor as well, or the CIPS exam question preparer. So my tip here is again to improve your vocabulary. Use or read the study guide, read other material to understand about different ways that they write books, or they have different words for a single matter, like some negotiation tactics, like framing or reframing. You need to learn those vocabulary first before sitting the exam. All right, so before we switch to CIPS, then I suggest that we should have a small break. Okay, just about 1 minute. Okay, so let's continue with some other tips for CIPS. I think that I have a lot more experience with and a lot more content to talk about CR, how to prepare for CR. So first for CR, we know that they are the constructed response. So you need to construct an essay to answer to a question. The question may have the following structure. They could be quite fixed and quite predictable, but the topic will be more unpredictable, and we need to prepare every possible topic. Right. So the CI exam will have at least 2 parts. Right. First, we may have a scenario. We may have a scenario that describing the problem or some context for your answer. And second, we have the question part. The question part will it can be further divided into other. They can be further divided into parts. Like first, we will have the common words, and then we have common word like describe, analyze, explain, suggest, or contrast, compare, or calculate, right? And then they can ask you specific quantity, and you should not write above this quantity. Like as you can see here, describe 5 distinctive features, right? So we have the quantity like 5 and the object of distinctive features. And then additional command, most notably like with example, using example or from a certain scenario. So the question tend to be like that, and you need to understand before you put down your answer, before you write down your answer, you need to understand how or what kind of topic they are asking about. And this could be the problem for many students. They may use different ways to express they could use different ways to express their question, like analyze the impact of the objective of economic viability on procurement in etc. scenario. So that is very long sentence, very long imperative sentence. And you need to see that what they are asking specifically. So one of the first way is to understand the question and not put down your answer as soon as possible. Just try to understand the question first. Second, then after you understand the question and you know what they are asking, then you can turn to understand. You can turn to making the outline of the question. The outline could be including some bullet points of the main ideas, and then you can develop your points further. Before that, then let me help you to analyze different comment words. In CIPS introduction to the exam, they list pretty many comment words and okay, make it like different from level 4 to level 5. And for each comment word, then they have different explanation. But I think that I could easily categorize them into 5 groups. I could introduce them into 5 groups. There are the descriptive groups, which include some common words like describe, explain, discuss, illustrate, interpret, or justify. For this kind of common word, then your task is to provide information, like explain or provide the information that match with the relevant theory from study guide or something like that, or apply certain part of knowledge into this scenario. So you need to write about it in the more objective way, like from third person perspective, and not really apply any judgment of the decision or of the situation. Second, we have the listing common words like define, list, identify, or outline. They tend to be a part of larger question. That kind of question tend to have 2 parts. The first part will be about listing, and the second part could be descriptive or subjective. For this group, then your task is to make it like listing the answer, listing the bullet points, and you don't need to go into detailed description. You don't need to be greedy here. Third, we have the comparative common word like compare and contrast. With compare, then you need to highlight both the differences and the similarity. With contrast, you only need to focus on the differences. For this kind of question, then you need to know what will be the criteria to compare, okay, and then explain your points further in your answer. Next group is subjective, include analyze, apply, assess, criticize, or evaluate. So for subjective, as the name of this group suggests, it is more about your own idea or opinion of certain matters, and you can include your judgment here, whether apply this thing is good or bad for the situation, or whether this situation or whether this approach may have some advantages or disadvantages for the scenario or not. And finally, we have the problem solving, like propose or suggest or reconcile. For this kind of question, then your task is to suggest or to write about a solution for the problem in scenario, applying the knowledge that you have learned so far from the from study guide. So for this one, then you need to know about the problem. You need to understand the problem, and then suggest the suitable solution from what you have learned. Okay. By this grouping, then I believe that we can have better direction for our answer instead of just going to the question in general way. Okay, in subsequent slide, then I introduce a little bit more about how to answer, how to make a general answer about these type of common word. For descriptive common word like describe, explain, or something like that, then absolutely you need to have an introduction into a problem. like the definition or the importance of certain matters in that scenario. And then you can break the, you can make an outline of your answer using the bullet points and also the 71H 71H approach, and then refer to the scenario and then go to conclusion. Later, I will explain what is 7W and 1H. This is the a method. This is a method for describing or explaining a certain subject. We have different or 7W common words in English. They all start with the WH, or they can be called WH question. So we have what, where, when, which, why, who, and whom. And then 1H is how. So for certain matters, then you can raise different questions about it. For example, let's come back to this one. The 5 distinctive features of capital procurement. So for this one, then you can first you try to explain what is capital procurement and how capital procurement contribute to the overall objective of the organization. And maybe you can, if you want to do that even further, you can say like, who will undertake capital procurement, or which type of capital procurement would be more important, or whom will be impacted, who will be impacted by capital procurement, or when we should have the capital procurement, etc. So by this way, then you make very comprehensive points about the capital procurement and explain it in very structured, and also you can encapsulate every point about capital procurement here. But the question here is about the 5 distinctive features. So you need to focus on the features here, like how capital procurement differs from operational purchase or OPEX. Okay, second, we have the listing. Listing is normally the lesser part of a bigger question. That question we have two parts. Like the first part, like outline the different electronic systems used in procurement. So simply you just make an introduce and make a bullet points list of the ideas here, like the 5 electronic system are e-requisition, e-ordering, e-catalog, okay, e-sourcing, e-payment, okay, or e-auction. All of them are the points, and you can also write some basic description of those things. Okay, so that's enough because they tend to be lesser questions. So you just need to make them very basic and minimum. Okay, don't focus too much time here. With comparative common word are only applicable in level 5. We only have compare and contrast. So just like with the suggestion, sorry, just like with the descriptive common word, then you can apply, make some introduction, but here you need to focus more on the comparison, like making the criteria and talking about the similarity and difference with compare, and talk about the only differences with contrast. With subjective common words, then you should spend your time to explain the advantages or disadvantages, and also about the whether this is applicable or not in certain scenario. So it is more about your own opinion and judgment. With the problem solving, we need to propose certain solution to a certain problem. So you need to understand what are the problems here. And I think that this comment would tend to be more present in in level 5 and level 6. So you need to understand what are the problems that this company is facing and what kind of solution we can do here. You can kind of like make a brainstorm of the possible solutions, and you may suggest a solution based on some criteria like about the cost, about the effectiveness, and what solution may fit the organization here. All right, so I see a question from Yuma Eriman. The difference between analyze and assess. In fact, if we go into details, then they may have some minor differences. With analyze, then mostly you still do the description of the methods. Like you still need to highlight the characteristic, you need to highlight the features of that topic. With assess, then it tends to be more about our own judgment and assessment, like whether this fit or not, or whether this should be applied in certain scenario. So they still have some minor differences, but only in the proportion of your answer. With analyze, then you focus more on analyzing the features and a little bit about your own judgment. But with assess, then the judgment should be more prominent methods. Right, let's continue. With the problem solving, then you may start with brainstorming and then select the best solution. And also you need to write about how the organization in scenario may solve problem using certain process. Okay, and finally, I think that really very important, but most people may ignore. Sometimes in the exam, you may feel like quite relief when you have an easier question, like when you sit at form 1, you see the question about right. All right, so that's great. You feel that you are very confident about that part. But the problem is when you spend too much time on a single question, then you have less time for other questions. Okay, so all the time we have very limited period for the exam. So you need to allocate your time appropriately and not to spend time on every question. Therefore, I want to take some time here to talk about time management. You need to manage your time closely before and during the exam. Okay, so time is our most precious resource, and you need to spend it wisely and not waste any time. Most students, especially when you sit the exam for the first time, I see that they tend to focus too much on some first question, maybe question number 1 and question number 2. And then when they realize that they are about to run time, they rush to question number 3 and question number 4. So that way will not help you to pass the exam. And instead, it can kill your chance of passing the exam. Therefore, you need to avoid this. Another problem is that students tend to have like overdo on easier question and spend less time on harder question. This should be reversed. We should spend more time on harder question and less time on easier question. For harder question, then they still have the same value as easier question. Okay, every question in the exam only have 25 points. So even if you overdo either question, then you only have 20 or 22 or 23, okay, or even 25. And if you underdo that, then your score is not significantly lower. Like you only have, you may still score 18 or 19, enough for you to pass the exam. And if you totally ignore the other question, the harder question, then your score may be less satisfactory, like even 7 or 8 or 9. And in total, then your score, your total points are not enough to pass the exam. Therefore, you need to be kind of like to be allocate your time equally for every question, every question. Another problem is that when people see that they have easier question like butterfly rice, then they tend to spend too much time on certain paragraph and not allocating sufficient time for other. So your answer will be very uh, asymmetric. Asymmetric. Like the first few paragraphs are very long, are very interesting, and then you only have 1 or 2 sentences for the subsequent paragraph. So it looked like you look very rushed, and your answers seem very incomplete and unequal. Therefore, we need to avoid all of these things. First, we always have a clock at the top of the screen, at the top of the exam screen. So it is a countdown clock. You need to pay close attention to your time. You need to allocate approximately 45 minutes per question. And then within a question, then you need to develop a skeleton, or you need to develop an outline. Okay, make it as bullet points, and then allocate your time accordingly. Like you have 7 points or 8 points for a question. I mean, 8 bullet points for a question. So you take 45 divided by 8. So you have about 5 or 6 minutes per paragraph per point. And you need to spend the time in that manner. By the way, then you will see that you have you can finish the question within a fixed time period. All right, so I see that there are a few questions here from Oluseyi. It's in OR where you have to select more than one answer with F mark when for each answer lost mark. All right, so for OR, when the question has more than one options, like 2 or 3, then according to my observation, each question has 1 point, right? So if you select all correct option, if you select all correct options, then you get 1 point. And there's no appeal about that. But you select one correct answer and your other options are wrong, then I know that I don't know where is this, but I remember that some CIPS exam, some CIPS events has explained this. You get none. You get no score if your answer are partially correct. So if you select only one wrong question and then only one wrong answer, then your previous answer will be null. Second from James Koo. Do I have to answer in a chronological order, question 1 to 4 in CR? So you don't need to. You can answer in any order. You can answer in any order. But I think that you should start with something more challenging and finish the question with capline. You can finish the less challenging question later. By this way, then you can have more time on more difficult question and less time for less difficult question. From Kunda Musonda, am I required to answer all 4 questions? Of course. Actually, you are not. Sometimes, and in my case, I even missed a question in Alphon 8 due to technical glitch. I could not give the answer there, but I still passed. So basically, you're not it is not compulsory to finish all questions. Okay, so you can skip, but to increase your chance of pass the exam, exam passing, then you need to answer all of them, and then that can help you to pass exam with higher score. Okay, from Portia, how many questions are there? In the form one. So all CI exams have 4 questions. And for Vasha, is it important to write introduction and conclusion? Yes, actually, it makes your answer more comprehensive and kind of like improve your performance. Although you can jump directly into your answer without introduction, but if but having introduction and conclusion will have kind of like bonus points for performance. So I see that you still have a lot of concern, kind of like some anxiety before writing them. So we are here. We are here to help you. We are here to help you. Okay, so personally, I may organize some revision class for different students, and we always provide these class with a mind for practice in both OR and CR. Okay, depending on the module that you are joining. We also have the practice question on Udemy, and you can search for them. So far, we published already 12 practice questions, 12 practice tests on Udemy, all for level 4 and core for level 5. And we are about to release Alpha 1 soon. And recently, then did a new service. We are about to open the assessment service. We have a software, a safe exam software that has very similar feature to the one that you have during CIPS exam. So we can organize kind of like very secure and very fixed time exam. That may that if you want to try or if you want to assess yourself before sitting exam, then we are happy to have. You can assess your performance and also send you a report, a very detailed report, unlike the performance report from CIPS. Here, we will send you the report on your performance, what question you have answered wrong, and how you can improve your performance, and so on. Okay, so we're happy to have you with this service. And if you have interest in the assessment service, then you can contact us on WhatsApp or write an email to our address here. Okay. So I hope that for today, my information is helpful and informative for you to improve and prepare for your next exam in March 2025 and other exam in 2025. So we hope that all of you will have the best chance to pass the exam in March. Thank you very much for joining us and see you in other events where we may focus on different topics and help you to study different modules. All right, see you in other events.